I have tested the Sony A7V on 2 real-world wedding shoots, and here's what I found. What's good guys, my name is Oleg Nikitin and you're watching No Limits On channel. Let's start off with the image quality. I definitely see more detailed image compared to the Sony ZV-E1 which I've been using previously, or to the Sony A7V FX3 which are having the same exact sensor. In those cameras we almost have a pixel-to-pixel 4K readout compared to downsampled from 7K in the Sony A7V, and it's noticeably better to cut out the vertical portions of a horizontal screen for reels and shorts. I shot in S-Log3 in 4K 50 frames per second in XAVC HS 10-bit 100 megabits per second for almost the entire day, with the angle of view priority turned on. This mode has no crop, but also you have less noise reduction in camera, and the image is absolutely clean at lower ISO values. Yes, you can see some noise in the extreme shadows, but it is so fine and it almost looks like a film grain and can be easily removed with a Neat Video plugin if needed. When it comes to the second native ISO of 8000 and going up to 25600 ISO in S-Log3 with angle of view priority turned on, the image is a bit noisy, but still the noise looks film-like, and if you don't like that look, it can be easily removed with a Neat Video plugin and you'll get great results without losing too many details. If you want to make the image look as noise-free as possible in 4K 50 or 60 frames per second with the Sony A7V, you can use the angle of view priority mode set to off with 1.15x additional crop, or just use the 4K 25p. Compared to the Sony ZV-E1, the extreme low light performance is very similar when you use the angle of view priority off setting with an extra in-camera crop and denoise, because in the Sony ZV-E1 or FX3 it is always on by default as well. But me personally, I would much rather prefer as minimal as possible in-camera noise reduction and dealing with the noise in post if I have to. And yes guys, those are not real weddings, those are wedding workshops organized by my wife, but this does not affect the way I use a camera. You can always come join our workshops in Europe. We had the participants from Australia, Japan and Canada this time, so you're always welcome. You can find a link for our workshops in the description of this video. The dynamic range in S-Log3 is great and more than comparable to FX3 and ZV-E1. The colors straight out of the camera also look really nice, and the 10-bit color can be pushed and pulled a lot without falling apart. I also quite a lot did use the APS-C crop mode of the Sony A7V, obviously to have longer reach with my 20-70 f4G Sony lens, especially when filming on the boat with those shots. And to be honest, I don't see any major differences in sharpness or detail levels or noise when using the APS-C crop mode. And compared to Sony FX3 or ZV-E1 with 12 megapixels, this option is not available, and it's a definite advantage of the Sony A7V. I also did shoot in 4K 100 frames per second a couple of times with an obligatory 1.5x crop, and the footage still looks amazing. In this regard, having a 20-70mm lens was nice because I had 30mm equivalent focal length on the wide end. Together with the Sony 20-70 f4 lens, I also did try out my new Tamron 35-150 f2.2.8, which gave me really nice images, but I could definitely feel the difference in the IBIS performance with the Tamron. It is noticeably worse than with the native Sony lens. For static shots, even at 150mm, the Steady Shot Active was doing a great job. But if you try to pan with your camera, you can get a lot of micro jitters, which is a bit annoying. In general, the IBIS performance is definitely better than on my previous cameras, the Sony ZV-E1 and Sony FX30. The autofocus performance both with the Sony and the Tamron lens was spot on, even in backlighting situations with a pretty strong VND, and also when the subject was pretty small in the frame. Certainly the best AF I've ever used. And for the best autofocus performance during weddings, I would still recommend to set the autofocus recognition to human. A few words about a viewfinder. For those two shoots, I mostly used an on-camera monitor and a gimbal. But when I was looking through the EVF, it was bright, detailed, and for lightweight run-and-gun scenarios, it's a very important advantage compared to FX3 or ZV-E1. The screen is also slightly bigger than on the Sony FX3 and ZV-E1, but the brightness is about the same, and it's still not perfect for bright sunny days. But flippy tilting mechanism is very handy. I also found a pretty interesting quirk with the CF Express Type A and SD card slots. I was using the CF Express Type A in the top slot and the SD card in the bottom slot, and I've been recording with simultaneous recording, and for some reason I had less memory on the CF Express Type A card. And when I compared the exact same files in terms of the file namings on the CF Express Type A, the files were having slightly bigger size. Thus I had about 20% less memory on the CF Express Type A. I did Google online and it says just that there are different mechanisms of storing data on those two systems, so if you want the exact same timing when you record a redundant backup, I would suggest using SD cards in both slots for video. And when I did use exactly the same card combination in my Sony FX30, I didn't have the same issue, just something to keep in mind. As you can see guys, we had pretty hot weather on the Lake Como at this wedding workshop, and it was plus 30 degrees Celsius in the shade, and on the sun I think it was around 40 degrees, it was super hot. But no overheating warnings whatsoever. The camera was cool to the touch, and I'm more than certain that this camera will be able to work even at plus 40 degrees and recording for more than an hour of footage in 4K 50. The rolling shutter performance even at telephoto focal length wasn't an issue whatsoever, and I think this amount of rolling shutter will only be an issue if you shoot sports with 200+ lenses and you pan a lot. By the way guys, if you want to play around with raw photos from the Sony A7V as well as the S-Log3 video, I have those files in my Telegram channel, I'll leave a link down below. You can simply download straight from the channel those files and play around with those, color grade them and use them whatever you want to. To conclude guys, I think Sony just hit the sweet spot with this camera because it has everything I want to for wedding videography and for most of my needs in general as well. Dual card slots for redundant recording, super sharp and detailed image quality, good rolling shutter performance, great dynamic range, the APS-C crop mode, and a ton of different other advantages for really decent pricing in my opinion. So I can highly recommend this camera if you are into wedding videography and if you use Sony cameras in general. I do feel like an update compared to my Sony ZV-E1 or even with the Sony FX3. Thank you so much for watching guys. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell. And right here I have my full in-depth comparison of the Sony A7 IV, A7V and the A7S III. I'll see you in that video guys. Take care. Bye.